Boulder Creek, which runs through here at the University of Colorado, flowed at 16 times its normal rate.
How high the creek was, how fast it was, how muddy it was, and how dangerous it was, it freaked us out.
Throughout the day, officials urged residents to stay inside, warning the floodwaters are far more dangerous than they appear.
That person can very easily just go floating down this river like we're seeing tons of debris because it is fast moving.
Across the state, water damaged or overflowed dams, roads became impassable from water or mudslides, and homes collapsed. Here, the tiny town of Lyons was cut off completely by what local officials describe as a 500-year flood. Residents have been told they could be on their own for up to 3 days. Rain continued throughout the day and could get worse. For a second night, Colorado battles darkness, floodwaters, and a race against time to rescue its residents. Ana Cabrera, CNN, Boulder, Colorado.
Well-armed and organized ivory poachers are wiping Kenya's elephants, but national park rangers are taking them on. Just this week, the Kenyan Wildlife Services reported the shooting of 3 suspected poachers. CNN's Senvaji caught up with some of the authorities to find out what they face.
Muddy water causing a splash. A sweet relief from the baking savanna heat. Nearby, a baby elephant is only too eager to imitate the adults. A fun afternoon for this herd of elephants in Kenya's Tsavo Conservation Area. Park rangers protecting the elephants' natural playground. On this day, they're polishing their training, how to load and reload a firearm quickly, and then aim accurately at the enemy when under threat. The enemy, poachers. The men in this newly formed team are drawn from various security agencies in the country, part of a government initiative to boost the fight against wildlife poaching. Alan Maina, a ranger with the Kenya Wildlife Service, says the highly militarized anti-poaching training reflects the new kind of poachers that they're up against, well-armed and highly organized.
The poaching now, they are using a sophisticated method because they come, they may use even the vehicle.
In some Asian countries like China and Thailand, ivory means status. People are willing to pay high prices for the rare, illegal commodity. Their appetite has fueled the slaughter of thousands of elephants. So far, this year alone, Kenya has lost more than 250 elephants. Last year, more than 360.
I have no words for this.
Robert O'Brien, a senior officer at Kenya Wildlife Service, shows us what he calls an elephant graveyard. Rows and rows of old elephant skulls and jaws, remains of elephants that have died from drought and at the hands of poachers.
This is just part of maybe a quarter of what is out there. These are hundreds of elephants dead.
A new wildlife conservation and management bill in Kenya will put in place stiffer penalties for poaching once it goes into effect. But in the meantime, Alan and his group of rangers continue to push forward. They understand only too well their critical role in protecting the largest mammal on Earth. But the task is daunting. The men are few, the land is huge and porous. Tourism is a key part of Kenya's economy. The wildlife, a key attraction to visitors from across the world. But animal rights groups warn that if the current elephant killings continue, in a few decades there will be no elephants left in the wild. But Alan remains hopeful about victory.
We are hoping that even the years to come, like 15 years, the tourists will be coming and seeing animals because the effort we are putting, we feel that we are going to win the war of poachers.
Well, crucial talks are underway in Geneva for a second day on the Russian plan for Syria to surrender control of its chemical weapons. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is meeting his Russian counterpart, and UN Syrian envoy Lakhdar Brahimi was also present at the meeting. CNN's chief security correspondent explains the progress made.
So you got it, the essential disagreement there, which is on the threat of force. The U.S. saying it's going to reserve that right. The Russians saying that should be off the table. I just watched the delegates, Russian and American, go back in for another session of meetings. As you mentioned, Lavrov and Kerry have now said they will meet again to discuss this plan later this month in New York, so you can see how the timeline of these talks can extend. But they also say they're going to expand the subject of the talks and not just speak about getting rid of serious chemical weapons, but also to a peaceful end to the civil war there, to the civil conflict. So we're seeing this about more than just the stockpiles. As you say, Secretary Kerry said that their start has been constructive. That's not quite as bad as frank discussions in diplomatic speak, not quite as good as productive, but at least they're talking, and we'll see how things go today.
And the behavior and dynamic that's been on display there at the talks. I understand that there was an incident with Sergei Lavrov that was caught on camera?
Well, it's been interesting to watch their rapport. Kerry and Lavrov have a long relationship. They generally have a good rapport, but even yesterday we saw one instance where Kerry sort of joked that it's too early to take Lavrov's word, and then today, as they were meeting with Lakhdar Brahimi, listen to this moment and this exchange with journalists that Foreign Minister Lavrov had.
You don't give us orders, you just catch the moment. We'll see you after the meeting. Thank you.
So these are serious talks. These are both serious men, but they have real disagreements on the threat of military action, for instance. But they say that they're moving forward and they're going to focus on something that's achievable here on the ground, and that is a plan to catalog, collect, and destroy serious chemical weapons.
Well, I guess you know what that means. Time now to take a look at the weather report, courtesy of the Central Forecast Office.
The source assures us of a continuous flow, and from there, everything follows. And for those of us who know what the River Gambia stands for, understanding its sustainability in all aspects of life is easily confirmed. The River Gambia provides nutritious delicacies as food, while it provides its wildlife a balanced ecosystem. This river, as a sanctuary, is committed to its inhabitants' needs without season. And as you travel along, all these values are replicated in one company, Elton. Just like the River Gambia, leads in its commitment to values that matter most. Elton, championing the vision for a new generation.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome to the weather segment. We experience a warm, humid, and variably cloudy atmosphere with rain over some places. Basa recorded the highest with 16.7 millimeters. Kerewan recorded 1.1, and Kawur recorded trace. The satellite picture indicates convective activities over western Mali moving towards the Senegambia region. There are also some convective activities over Nigeria and the eastern part of the continent. These convections will eventually cause rain and thunderstorm in the affected areas, whilst elsewhere indicates dry and stable conditions. For the forecast tonight, we're expecting a humid and mostly cloudy atmosphere to prevail over the entire country, with scattered rain showers, particularly over the eastern sector. The day tomorrow, we're expecting a cloudy atmosphere to prevail over the entire country, with outbreaks of rain and thunderstorm throughout the period. Light to moderate southerly winds will dominate the flow over the entire country, and the speed will be about 5 to 10 kilometers per hour. Morning temperatures, we're expecting 21 degrees Celsius over the Greater Banjul area, 22 over the West Coast region, 23 over North Bank, Central and Upper River region, whilst Lower River will record 24 degrees Celsius. For the afternoon temperatures, we're expecting 29 degrees Celsius over the Greater Banjul area, 31 over the West Coast region, as well as Central and Upper River, whilst North Bank and Lower River will record 30 degrees Celsius. Moving on to the sea, we're expecting a low tide of 0.6 meters at 11 a.m. and also 0.5 meters at 5:23 p.m. For the high tides, we're expecting 1.5 meters at 4:38 a.m. and also 1.4 meters at 5:18 p.m. Wave heights will vary between 1 to 2 meters high, slight to moderate easterly swell.